Alright, let's go. Wednesday, 13th of March. First, a little bit of news. So, the UK Parliament voted down the no Brexit situation. In other words, they said no to, they voted down a no deal Brexit. Alright, remember yesterday they voted down Theresa May's new deal with the EU. They didn't want that deal. They said it was a bad deal, so they voted it down. Today they voted down a no deal Brexit. In other words, over the cliff. They call it over the cliff, like just breaking away on March 29th, which is the date that Article 50, that's when they break away. That date becomes a reality and they go with it without any kind of a deal with the EU. So they're afraid to do that. All right, so they voted that down. So now they're going to vote again tomorrow on whether to enact an extension on Article 50, and that has to be agreed to by the EU. The EU might say, no, we're not giving you extra time. Goodbye, that's it, you're gone. So, just a lot more confusion. By the way, if you think about this whole thing, it's very irrational. And I talked about this yesterday, that the UK was fine for decades, forever, under the WTO, the World Trade Organization, trading rules with Europe and with the individual countries in Europe. And the British pound was a lot higher. And ostensibly, a no-deal Brexit would put the relationship between the UK and the European countries back on a WTO kind of standard. There's no reason for the panicky selling in the British pound, although today the pound is up. And the pound is up probably because the zombies, the market participants, see today's vote as eventually coming to some kind of a deal, or maybe even staying in the EU, having another referendum and turning around the will of the people. I mean, we see this a lot nowadays. So anyway, that's where that stands. But what I have been saying since the very beginning, since the Brexit vote in 2016, I said that the hysterical selling of the British pound and the doom and gloom scenarios, which by the way have never materialized, but the doom and gloom scenarios that have been put out there, oh my God, we're going to break away from Europe, it's going to be terrible for the economy. By the way, you never hear these politicians over there talking about the austerity which has been terrible for the economy of the UK. It's the austerity, not the breaking away from the EU. The austerity, which is their own policy, that has been the major factor in, if you want to characterize it as slow growth of the UK economy. It's been the austerity. And that is something that is 100% under their own control. All right? That's the thing they ought to look at. Now, breaking away from the EU does not necessarily have to have severe negative consequences if they enact the proper policy domestically. So get rid of this ridiculous austerity. I just want to talk about that. And by the way, the euro has reversed all of its declines since the ECB decision last week. Remember, they came out with that TLTRO, which they are going to do in September. That is, I said at the time, if anything, a neutral. It is certainly not bearish for the euro. Neutral at worst, I would say. You had that panicky, crazy selling day on the day of that announcement, which was last Thursday, I believe that's when it was. I was buying that dip. The market has reversed all of that decline. Okay? Now I want to talk about something. A few weeks ago, I had to cut a guy loose from my service. I had to let him go. I had to kick him out. And I talked about this. But here we go again, coming back to not just behavior, but really shining a light on truth, on honesty, on what people are really searching for. Like everybody comes into this thinking, oh, I want to be a trader, I want to invest, I want to make a lot of money. That's what they think they want. But deep down inside, subconsciously, their real motivation is often something else. And I've spoken about that many times. In most cases, they're really not looking to make money. They're looking for action. They want action. And that manifests in this impatience, this inability to wait out a trade or an investment until it reaches its goals, its potential. The belief that they have to be doing something all the time. They see the markets moving. Shouldn't we be doing this? Shouldn't we be doing that? Now suppose I came along, or suppose anyone came along and said to you, look, I'm going to teach you how to invest. All you have to do is buy this thing or sell this thing, whatever, and hang on to it and you're going to get rich. Now if anybody who would hear that would say, that's fantastic, sign me up right now, I want to absolutely do that. All you have to do is buy this thing or sell this thing. You don't have to do anything else after that, and just sit tight and you're going to get rich. Let me just say, you will make a nice return on your investment. You don't have to do anything. You buy this thing or you sell this thing, you sit tight and everything's going to be fine. Now, every one of you right now hearing that would say, or anyone I pitch that to, 100% I'm saying they would say, sign me up, I want to do that. Yet, the irony is, when they're in that situation, here's this guy I'm talking about. It's the person I'm alluding to who I had to kick out. Holding this guy's hand, holding his hand, sending me emails 20 times a day during that crash in November, December. I said, hold your position, buy some more if you can, which I believe he did. Then when things started to turn around, remember we had the biggest up January in 30 years. On my call, by the way, the biggest up January in 30 years. Everything is coming back. The guy's making money again. He's happy. He's like, I'm moving up my stop. Shouldn't we do something? Shouldn't we do something? I said, no, stay long. The market is going higher. You have all the things that I look at, which are MMT based, the fiscal flows, the bank credit situation. All these things positive and telling us, and these are all, believe me, these are all forward-looking things. These are not like economists looking at numbers from a month ago or a quarter behind and trying to extrapolate that forward. No, you can't do that. That's looking in the rear-view mirror. What I look at is forward-looking, and these are the things that create the conditions upon which the economy either grows or contracts. That's the important thing. You want to know what are the driving forces that create the conditions that are going to be in existence a month from now, a quarter from now, a year from now, 4 years from now. That's what I do. So everything's going his way. It's going up. Things are positive. And now here's what he says. What do I need you for if all I have to do is hold on? So you go to a guy, and it comes back to what I said earlier. You go to someone and you say, this is all you have to do. You stay in, and it's going to take you for a ride to exactly where you want to go, which is wealth and profits. And then the response is, why do I have to do that? Shouldn't I be selling? Shouldn't I be moving out? Shouldn't I be doing this? Shouldn't I be doing that? So it exposes the real motivation, the real desire. It was never, ever about making money, because I made it easy for him. I made it so easy that you see what happened? He became bored. He became bored with the concept of, is this what this game is about? I just have to sit here and watch my profits go up? That's not what I want. I want the action. We need to be doing something. So as I've said so many times, this activity, this endeavor, this pursuit will expose you. Now, whether or not you are honest enough to take that, to understand that, to embrace that, to see yourself for who you are, that is your decision. I mean, most people, I would say 99% of the people, and I know this having done this for a long time, me personally, and doing this coaching, having these subscriptions, most people will move on searching for that system fairy, thinking that's what's going to bring them money. But it's not money that they want. It is completely something else. In most cases, it's action. Maybe in other cases, in rare cases, and maybe not so rare cases, people actually want to lose. Maybe it's a form of, becoming a sort of a martyr of self-pity. Oh, look at me. I lost all this money in the market. I mean, that could be motivation too. People self-inflict punishment. So it could be that. But it's fascinating, I'm telling you. When you see it in reality, when you know what to look for, as I do because I've been dealing with this for a long time and with people, it is amazing how people just blow themselves up or put themselves on a path contrary to what they think they are seeking. And it happens all the time. Now it's all in your control, okay? But like I've said so many times, it is very, very hard. And most people don't want to be honest with themselves. And so they stay on a losing path. All right, bye-bye.